Ontario. I'm really excited to be joining the team with LexPD and creating content for you to assist you on your journey of becoming a licensed lawyer in Canada. In terms of background, I am currently completing my LLM, my Master's in Law from the University of Ottawa, where I'm specializing in law and technology. I obtained my LLB from Kingston University in London, England. Prior to that, I completed my Master's in Political Science from Western University in London, Ontario. And prior to that, I completed my bachelor's also in political science from Wilfrid Laurier University. As an internationally trained law student, I understand the opacity in regards to trying to navigate what it entails to become a licensed lawyer in Canada. So I hope that this video, which will be a brief overarching view of what that process is, will be helpful. As an internationally trained lawyer or law student, and that's the perspective that I will be discussing from, not from someone who is obtained their civil credentials from a Canadian university and is now going through the NCA process. I will only be speaking from an internationally trained perspective. So with that disclaimer, first things first, you have a two-step process that you have to go through in order to become a licensed lawyer in Canada. So whether you're a Canadian like me and you decided to go abroad to broaden your horizons and then come back to Canada to practice here, or if you're an internationally trained lawyer and you're deciding to immigrate to Canada, because why not, you will have to go through the same two-step licensing process in order to practice law in Canada. So the first process is the federal process and the second is provincial. So everyone has to go through the same federal process that is administered through the Federation of the Law Societies of Canada, FLSC, and that is administered through their standing committee, which is the National Committee on Accreditation, the NCA. Now that is the body that you will be engaging with. The first step in becoming a licensed lawyer in Canada is to go through that federal process. In order to do that, you create a profile with the NCA. And once you do that, they will assess you on an individual basis. So it's a very subjective assessment that they will go through. And that assessment is in relation to your academic as well as your professional credentials. Once you're assessed, the NCA will give you either a number of exams that you have to complete or a set number of courses that you have to complete. If you are mandated to complete a certain number of courses, you will be told which university is a recognized university for you to obtain those credentials from. Whereas if you are mandated to complete a certain number of exams, there are syllabuses on the NCA website and exam schedules that you will have to navigate through in order to complete that process. So once you've completed the NCA assessment requirements, you've submitted your profile, you've gotten feedback, you now know how many exams or courses you have to complete, and you've successfully completed them, then you have to request to the NCA for your certificate of qualifications. Once you've obtained the certificate of qualifications, you can now register to be admitted to one of the provincial law societies of Canada. This is important. You can only register with 12 of the 14 provincial and territorial bars. So with the NCA, they're only looking at every law society outside of Quebec because they only are focusing on the common law jurisdiction in Canada. So thereby you only have 12 law societies that you can choose from in order to become a licensed lawyer with that specific province. So once you've decided which law society you would like to practice in, you need to become familiar with what that specific law society requires. So in order to become a licensed lawyer in the province of Ontario, having completed the NCA process now, and you've chosen the Law Society of Ontario, the LSO, there is a two-part component that you must complete. The first part is the experiential component, that is your practical component. You have an option of either completing this through the LPP program, that is the Law Practice Program, that is administered through Ryerson University, that is the English version, and the French version is administered through the University of Ottawa. or you have the option of doing the traditional articles of clerkship, which is when you essentially work as an articling student with a law firm or a lawyer. The other component of becoming a licensed lawyer in Ontario is completing the notorious bar exam. The bar exam in Ontario is a two-part exam. You have the barrister exam and the solicitor exam. So it's at your discretion when you want to complete it. So once you've registered with the specific law society, in this case, the province of Ontario, you've opened up your profile, you're starting the licensing process, you have 5 years to complete both the articles of clerkship, the practical component, whether you want to do that through the articles of clerkship or through the LPP program, as well as the bar. So you have 5 years to do both. Usually people finish the bar exam first and then start their articles. Some people do the bar while they're doing articles, or rather I should say the experiential component. I apologize, I did articles, so that's why I'm used to saying that. But some people do it after they've done the practical component. So it's really at your discretion when you want to write the bar, and you have 5 years once you commence the licensing process to actually complete both components in order to become a licensed lawyer in Ontario. And once you've successfully completed that, you will be called to the bar, as it is called. So just to reiterate, what is the two-part licensing process as an internationally trained lawyer/law student? So you have the national process, that is the federation, that is administered through the Federation of Law Societies of Canada, FLSC. The standing committee, the NCA, is responsible for that, and they're only looking at the territorial and provincial law societies outside of Quebec. So you have the option of 12 law societies that you can choose from upon successfully completing the NCA process, where you can be a licensed lawyer in Canada. Upon successfully completing the NCA process, whether you obtain courses that you are mandated to complete or a certain number of exams, you will then have to request to the NCA for a certificate of qualifications. Once you've obtained your certificate of qualifications that shows the world that you've successfully completed the national federal licensing process of Canada, you can then commence the provincial licensing process at the discretion of whichever province of the 12 common law provinces, provincial and territorial law societies of Canada that you choose from. You need to know what the requirements of that provincial or territorial law society entails. The province of Ontario has a two-part component to it in order to become a licensed lawyer in the province of Ontario. That is the experiential component, that is also divided into 2 parts, the articles of clerkship and the law practice program. Whereas the other part of the Law Society of Ontario's licensing process is composed of the bar exam, which is also 2 exams, which is essentially 2 exams, the barrister and the solicitor exam. So once you're done all of that, you're officially called to the bar, which means you have been administered to that specific law society. I hope this was helpful. This is just a brief overview of what the 2-step process is, and just to give law students that are internationally trained or Canadians that are considering going abroad what they would have to take into consideration when they're coming back to Canada. As I said, it does broaden your horizons. It is by no means an easier route, but I think it's worth it because it certainly opens your opportunities and your outset on the world. And I'm really excited for all the internationally trained lawyers that have come from various different backgrounds to help move our legal industry forward. And again, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to reach out. And we hope that this was useful to you in your journey of becoming a licensed lawyer in Canada. Thank you.